You wake up, check your phone, stocks are red, layoffs are trending on X. Rent just went up again, and you think, wait, didn't we already survive 2008? Didn't we learn? Here's the scary part. What's coming in 2026 might make 2008 look like practice mode. And today, I'll show you why, and more importantly, how to protect yourself. Most people think financial crashes announce themselves loudly, like alarms going off, breaking news everywhere, red banners screaming danger. But real crashes don't feel scary at first. They feel normal, comfortable even. In 2006, families were buying homes with tiny down payments, telling themselves prices only go up. It felt responsible at the time. In 2021, people piled into stocks, crypto, and NFTs because money felt free and risk felt invisible. Everyone else was doing it, so it felt safe. That's the trap. The biggest mistake is assuming the next crisis will look exactly like the last one. It never does. It sneaks in quietly, disguised as opportunity, until suddenly it isn't. Think of the economy like a human body running on stimulants, dead as caffeine. A small amount keeps things moving, sharp, productive. Too much, and the body starts shaking. The heart races. Eventually, something gives out. That's where we are now. In 2008, the damage was mostly concentrated in one place: mortgage debt. It was ugly, but it was contained. Today, debt is everywhere. Governments are drowning in it. Companies are loaded with it. Households are juggling credit cards, student loans, car payments, and buy now, pay later plans just to get through the month. The U.S. national debt alone is over $34 trillion. That's not some abstract big number. That's interest payments so large they could fund entire countries. And when interest rates were near zero, this wasn't a problem. Borrowing felt painless. But now rates are high. That means every dollar of debt suddenly feels heavier, like refinancing your entire life at the worst possible moment. Here's where things get even more dangerous. High interest rates don't just hurt balance sheets. They change how people behave. When money is cheap, everyone takes risks. Businesses hire fast, expand quickly, and chase growth. Investors pour money into anything that promises big returns. Consumers swipe cards without thinking too hard. But when rates rise, fear replaces optimism. Companies freeze hiring or start laying people off. Investors pull back and demand certainty. Consumers cut spending to the basics. The mindset shifts from "how do I grow?" to "how do I survive?" In 2008, central banks had an easy lever to pull. They slashed rates aggressively and flooded the system with cheap money. Today, that lever is stuck. Cut rates too early and inflation comes roaring back. Keep rates high for too long and something breaks. That constant tug of war didn't exist in the same way back then, and it makes every decision riskier. Now look at asset prices, because this is where the pressure really builds. Housing prices are still near record highs in many areas. Stocks are priced like the future will be perfect. AI has created massive optimism, with investors assuming productivity will explode overnight. But here's the problem. Incomes didn't rise at the same speed. That imbalance matters. Imagine trying to buy a $500,000 house with a salary that comfortably supports $300,000. On paper, the bank might approve you. In real life, every unexpected expense becomes stressful. One medical bill, one job loss, one rate adjustment, and the whole plan starts cracking. In 2008, housing was the first domino to fall. In the next cycle, multiple assets could lose air at the same time, slowly deflating rather than crashing all at once, which makes it harder to spot and harder to escape. Another reason this period is more dangerous is that the safety nets are thinner. Back in 2008, governments had more room to spend. Debt levels were lower. Interest rates could go all the way to zero. Trust in institutions, while shaken, was stronger than it is today. Now governments are already stretched. Rates are already high, people are skeptical, tired, and less patient. Many of the emergency tools that saved the system last time have already been used. That doesn't guarantee a collapse, but it raises the stakes. There's less margin for error, and smaller mistakes can have bigger consequences. And finally, there's the risk. Most people underestimate jobs. During crashes, people don't usually lose money in the stock market first. They lose their income. That's what hurts the most. This time, companies are learning how to operate with fewer workers. Thanks to AI, automation, outsourcing, and aggressive cost-cutting. That means when layoffs happen, jobs may not come back as quickly. Recoveries could be slower for workers, even if markets bounce. That's why this isn't just a market story, it's a life story. It affects where you live, how you spend, the risks you can afford to take, and how secure your future feels. Let's get practical, because information without action doesn't change anything. When uncertainty rises, the first thing you want to protect is your breathing room. Cash isn't trash in times like these. It's oxygen. Think of it like air in a submarine. You don't notice it when it's there, but when it's gone, panic sets in fast. Having 6 to 12 months of living expenses set aside gives you options. It lets you say no to bad jobs, bad investments, and bad decisions. This money shouldn't be chasing returns. Keep it boring. A high-yield savings account, a money market fund, somewhere safe and accessible. This isn't about being scared of the future. It's about being flexible enough to handle whatever shows up next. You want to deal with bad debt, and this part is non-negotiable. High-interest debt is a silent leak in your financial boat. Credit cards charging 20% or more are draining you every single month, even when you think you're standing still. If you're carrying that kind of balance, that's not normal debt. That's a financial emergency. Paying it off is one of the best investments you can make because it's a guaranteed return. There's no market risk, no timing risk. If a credit card charges you 22%, paying it off is like earning 22% risk-free. Very few investments can match that. Start by listing all your debts. Focus on the highest interest first and attack it aggressively. Every dollar freed up gives you more control. Now, let's talk about investing, because this is where people often swing too far in either direction. Some panic and sell everything. Others ignore risk and keep chasing hype. Neither extreme works well. This isn't about dumping your investments and hiding under the mattress. It's about humility, accepting that you don't know exactly what the market will do next. Diversification matters more in uncertain times. Spreading your money across different assets reduces the chance that one bad outcome ruins everything. Long-term thinking matters too. Markets move in cycles, and short-term fear often creates long-term opportunity, but only for people who stay patient. Avoiding hype is critical. When everyone is convinced something is guaranteed, that's usually when risk is highest. Markets don't reward prediction. They reward discipline, consistency, and time. One of the most overlooked investments, especially during unstable periods, is investing in your skills. Assets can go up and down. Jobs can disappear. But your ability to earn is something you carry with you. That's the safest asset most people have. Skills that help companies save money, make money, or work more efficiently tend to survive downturns. Think about what problems you help solve. Can you automate something? Can you analyze data? Can you sell, communicate, or manage systems? Can you use new technology in a practical way, not just talk about it? These are the kinds of skills that keep you valuable when budgets tighten. Even small improvements add up. Learning a new tool, improving one key skill, or becoming slightly better than average in a valuable area can dramatically improve your security. The key idea running through all of this is control. You can't control interest rates, markets, or global events, but you can control your cash cushion, your debt, your behavior as an investor, and the skills you bring to the table. Step by step, these choices stack. More cash gives you time. Less debt gives you freedom. Smarter investing gives you resilience. Stronger skills give you confidence. None of this requires predicting the future perfectly. It just requires preparing for uncertainty in a way that keeps you steady, while others are forced to react. This kind of economic environment quietly reshapes the decisions that matter most in everyday life. Things that once felt obvious now deserve a second look. Take buying a house. In boom times, people stretch their budgets because everyone else is doing it, and prices seem unstoppable. In a more fragile economy, being conservative is a strength, not a weakness. Choosing a home you can afford comfortably, even if rates rise or income dips, gives you peace of mind. It's the difference between enjoying your home and constantly worrying about the next bill. Flexibility matters more than impressing anyone. The same shift applies to career choices. During strong markets, chasing titles, fast promotions, or flashy startups feels exciting. In uncertain times, stability often beats status. A steady paycheck, transferable skills, and a company with real cash flow can be far more valuable than a fancy job title that disappears at the first sign of trouble. That doesn't mean stop growing or dreaming bigger. It means being intentional. Ask yourself how quickly you could replace your income if things went sideways. The easier that answer feels, the safer your position is. Lifestyle inflation becomes especially dangerous in this phase. When income rises, it's tempting to upgrade everything at once. Bigger apartment, nicer car, more subscriptions, more commitments. The problem is that expenses are sticky. They don't shrink easily when income falls. What feels manageable in good times can become suffocating when conditions tighten. Living slightly below your means isn't about deprivation. It's about breathing room. It gives you the ability to absorb shocks without stress taking over your life. We're also entering a period where quiet wealth beats loud wealth. Loud wealth looks good on social media. New cars, luxury trips, constant upgrades. Quiet wealth looks boring from the outside. Emergency funds, low debt, steady investing, and calm decision-making. One seeks attention. The other seeks durability. In uncertain times, durability wins. The people who sleep well at night aren't the ones with the flashiest lifestyles. They're the ones with options. Optionality starts to matter more than optimization. In stable environments, optimizing every dollar for maximum return makes sense. In unstable ones, having options is more powerful. Optionality means having the freedom to move, pivot, or pause when needed. It means not being locked into one fragile plan that only works if everything goes right. Maybe you rent instead of buying. Maybe you keep savings instead of tying everything up in investments. Maybe you build a side skill that gives you another income path. These choices may look inefficient on paper, but they give you control when conditions change. Resilience also beats speed. In fast-growing markets, moving quickly is rewarded. In uncertain markets, moving carefully keeps you alive. Resilience is about building systems that can handle stress. It's having routines, finances, and habits that don't collapse under pressure. Think of it like building a house. Speed gets it up fast. Resilience keeps it standing during a storm. Slower, sturdier decisions often outperform aggressive ones over time. The biggest mindset shift is understanding that caution is not fear. Being thoughtful doesn't mean you're pessimistic. It means you respect risk. The goal isn't to sit frozen or to assume the worst. It's to position yourself so that no single event can knock you off balance. When your lifestyle is flexible, your career is adaptable, and your mindset is calm, you stop reacting emotionally to every headline. You start making decisions from a place of strength. That's what this phase is really about: quiet preparation, steady choices, and building a life that can handle uncertainty without falling apart. So yes, it's completely possible that 2026 could feel worse than 2008. The pressures are different, the tools are more limited, and the margin for error is smaller. But here's the part most people miss. Crises don't hit everyone the same way. They don't wipe out everything equally. What they really do is reshuffle the board. Some people panic, freeze, or react emotionally. Others slow down, think clearly, and position themselves. That's where the gap opens up. Not because one group is smarter, but because one group is prepared. History shows this again and again. After every major downturn, there are people who come out stronger, not lucky, not reckless, just ready. They had cash when others didn't. They had flexibility when others were locked in. They had skills when others relied on a single fragile income stream. Preparation doesn't eliminate pain, but it turns chaos into opportunity. When assets go on sale, when competition thins out, when employers look for reliable people, instead of flashy resumes, the prepared have leverage. Think about it like a storm at sea. Two boats face the same waves. One is overloaded, leaking, and running on fumes. The other is lighter, well-maintained, and stocked with supplies. The storm doesn't care which boat you're on, but the outcome is very different. Strong cash flow is your fuel. It keeps you moving when things slow down. Low debt keeps your boat from sinking when the water gets rough. High skills give you the ability to repair damage, adapt your route, or even help others. A long-term mindset keeps you from making desperate decisions in short-term fear. This is why fear isn't the right response. Awareness is. You don't need to predict every headline or time the market perfectly. You just need to stack the odds in your favor, step by step, month by month, choice by choice. When you focus on what you can control, uncertainty loses much of its power over you. Instead of reacting to every downturn, you start seeing patterns. Instead of panicking, you start asking better questions. Where am I exposed? Where can I strengthen my position? Where can I create more flexibility? And here's something important to remember. Preparing doesn't mean pulling out of life. It doesn't mean giving up on growth, dreams, or enjoyment. It means building a foundation strong enough to support all of that, even when conditions get tough. It means choosing sustainability over shortcuts, calm over chaos, strategy over impulse. These choices may not look exciting in the moment, but they compound quietly. Over time, when the next storm hits, and it always does in some form, you want to be in a position where you're not forced to sell out. The worst moment, take the worst job, or make the worst compromise. You want options, you want clarity, you want confidence. That's what preparation gives you. It doesn't make you immune, but it makes you resilient. If this helped you think clearer instead of scarier, that's the goal. Information should empower you, not paralyze you. If you found value here, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might be feeling uncertain about what's coming next. Because the future doesn't belong to the loudest or the luckiest. It belongs to the people who prepare, stay steady, and move forward with intention.